time, cuz. Today I got time, cuz. You lucky on that day I was acting cool, cuz.
What?
Nigga, what's up? How gangster are you, cuz? I don't fuck with you, cuz you disrespecting me.
Whoop.
I don't fuck with you, cuz you disrespecting me. I
Go hard, cuz. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys are doing good today. Welcome. Come on in. If you missed the morning chat, it was really good. I really enjoyed doing that. It was a quick hour. It felt like, a radio show, as you're driving to work, I pop on, tell y'all what happened last night in the news. So it was really good. Thank you to everybody who called in this morning. So if you guys do not know, I activated my Lovelyti News Network. So I'll be doing news shows over there. Sometimes I'll come on camera. Sometimes I won't. 9 a.m. is too early to come on camera, child. I was eating breakfast and some more stuff. I'm like, damn, everybody's waiting. I'm over here stuffing my face. So, but I'm on camera now. We have a lot to talk about. Y'all like the yellow? Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. So tell me why. I guess I must have really went off in my last stream a few days ago. Because folks was calling, people was texting like, T, is everything okay? Like I said, if the shoe don't fit, don't wear it. You know what I mean? But my homeboy ended up calling me, and he's met my mother-in-law like at least 3-4 times. And so he decided to pop through. He's like, I can tell you're going through stuff. I seen your live stream. I'm really sad that people are not there for you. Tell me why he came all the way out here from LA and was just like, he called and he's like, I'm here. I said, you where? He's like, at the Minneapolis airport, can you come get me? He really flew out here. He's in the basement in the theater room watching me. And so I'm just like, it feels good to have real people by your side. At first I was kind of annoyed because I don't like surprises. Don't just pop up on my shit. But, he popped up at the airport. So I went and grabbed him. So he's going to come with me and the family. He hasn't seen the boys in a while. So we're all going to go to the memorial tomorrow. So it's probably going to be a hard day for me. I don't know if I'll do any videos tomorrow. I'll see. But I am feeling better. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a Leo. Leo season is over, but, the cutoff game is still strong. I'm over it. But thank you to everybody who just reached out to check on me and to just show that you're a genuine friend and that you really care about my well-being and mental health. And it means a lot to me. So, goodbye to trash and garbage. We're moving forward. But I hope you guys are doing good. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff I want to talk about in this stream. And shout out to Shamir. Okay, my new team, I'm loving them. Thank you for they're doing all the cuts of my live streams. So they're cutting them down. They're doing the edits. They're making all the shorts now on my channel. And I'm loving the shorts that they're using. So y'all make sure y'all support whatever they're uploading. They upload everything. I don't have to worry about nothing. It's just one less stress on my plate, while I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. So they've just been super helpful. So I really appreciate your help. I'm glad you guys are on board and you guys have just been patient with me through my whole medical situation. So y'all will be seeing just an uptick of, videos, we'll be slicing down the live streams. So people don't have 3 hours to watch, what I mean? We'll be able to cut them down to 10-minute increments and stuff like that. So I'm real excited about that. Okay, we got a full house tonight. Okay. Well, it's a lot to get into. So let's go ahead and start. A few people have been asking me about Uncle Tendernism. And, I hadn't been checking up with him just because I got my own shit going on. So I finally was like, okay, well, where's Mr. Tendernism been going? Because I remember last time we talked about him, some rapper was setting up a restaurant for him in Texas. I don't know what happened with that. And then I found out he was in the Queen City, which is my old stomping grounds, Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to everybody in Charlotte. So I guess they got a new festival in Charlotte where they had Mr. Tendernism. They had Les's Barbecue and a few other foodies that are real popular on the internet. I know that guy that be eating bare feet and crocodile balls. He was there. I forget his name. He just be cooking anything. He goes in the woods and will find a rattlesnake and throw it in that damn pit and baptize the damn rattlesnake. I said, this man eats everything from the Rudy to the Tootie, okay? He was there too. But so I went to, kind of Google, okay, what's going on with, Uncle Tendernism, what's up? And folks were saying that he was out there selling scamming plates, that the food is not fooding. The meat is not tender. when he goes like this, it's not falling out the bone. So I was like, wow. And when I seen some of them struggle plates, I'm like, what the hell happened? This is not the same Destination Smokehouse plates that the internet became accustomed to. So yeah, he went from being a mascot. Now they got him back there, you know, cooking, frying fish, basting oxtails, you know what I mean, smoking ribs. They got this old man back there working. Y'all, it's bad. So a lot of people were very upset at the event. They felt like this was just a money grab. You know, just the amount that people were being charged, even for like oxtails. You got like oxtails and rice. They were charging like $70 a plate. So a lot of people felt away. And so they're just saying, you know, Mr. Tendernism is not Tendernism anymore. So I don't know. We're going to go ahead and watch some of these clips here. I mean, I know he was on like Tamron Hall. He was all over television for a while. So I'm like, okay, so now that viral fame has kind of died down, and here comes the internet to tear him apart like the internet always does. Y'all love to make stars out of people. And then as soon as something don't go right, you know, then y'all drag them to hell. So let's go ahead and watch this young lady. She's speaking on Mr. Tenderism and his scamming plates at the Charlotte. I don't know what festival it was called. It was some type of Charlotte festival, some food fest. So we're going to go ahead and watch what she has to say here. Give me just a second.
Not y'all saying that Unc Tendernism is scamming y'all with his food. So apparently this is a plate of Mr. Tendernism's food. You can see...
First... Objection. Why does that look like a plate from a jailhouse or a lunchroom? Where's the macaroni? And then that rib looks lonely. It's literally one slab of rib. Where's the beef? Okay? Like, and then the roll. Is that even a sweet Hawaiian roll? Where's the cornbread? This does not look like the plates that I'm accustomed to seeing. So let's continue.
One beef rib, I don't know, pork rib, whatever that is. You see a roll and you see some potato salad. And here's another plate. And people are very disappointed in Unc Tendernism because people feel like they vouch for him and that he is not taking it seriously. But in reality, what was your guys' reasoning to separate him from that businessman? Because of his skin color? And in all reality, there was honestly no reason for him to leave. He only left because of all the backlash and all the love that he was also receiving from everybody on the internet. But now you guys just left him in the dirt. And saying that, oh, it's because of the quality of his food. Yeah, he probably does not have all the equipment that he had at that other restaurant. They're also talking about his packaging of his food. And it's really sad because, you know, he listened to everybody thinking they're going to support him. And a couple of months into it, everybody literally forgot about him. And
look,
now,
one thing the internet gonna do, they gonna complain, child. Y'all are mad about the packaging of the food. The internet said we are going to drag him to hell simply because he gave one rib and overcharged. They are mad and calling out the packaging. You can't make this up.
they're saying that he is scamming people. I genuinely feel like he is in his 70s and he should have been retired. You get what I'm saying? But because of all the love that he received, he thought that he could keep on going, and now everybody is not on his side, and it really sucks. Like, what else is he gonna do? But not y'all saying that Unc Tendernism is...
So y'all done hype this man up, and now y'all are tearing him down. We're gonna watch a few more clips here. So this is him here. Now, like I said, I initially thought he was just there to be the mascot. Oh no, they got Mr. Booyah Tendernism back there cooking and frying fish.
Hey everybody, this is Mr. Tendernism in this Queen City, August the 9th at University.
I mean, look at that. That man is going back and forth and, you know, handing out the plates. He's in the assembly line. I mean, it looked like he had a more cushy job and a more relaxed atmosphere at Destination Smokehouse. Y'all are working this 70-year-old man to the bone. That man was retiring. He was a mascot. He was having a good time. Now he's over there having to smoke ribs and shit. Let's continue.
I just got finished talking to Big Wes. He working out here. Look at him. He is working. Here go Mr. Tendernism, everybody. Here go Mr. Tendernism plates. He out here working hard for the people in the Queen City. Y'all need to come out and support. Look at us food. Look at it. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Tendernism.
And I'm sorry, a lot of that food looks like it was just reheated. Like, you know, they pre-made it and they're just, you know, reheating it. Those don't look like fresh baked beans and fresh baked rolls. I don't know. Let's go to the next clip.
And it looks like the people done turned on Mr. Tendernism. He's down there doing some sort of pop-up shop. It looks like a bunch of different food trucks and a bunch of different, like, big name foodies that we know. And cooking is a lot of work, okay? That's why I don't do it and I just be talking about food. But some people were not happy with the plates that they received from Mr. Tendernism. And I guess there was a bunch of problems, like the brisket ran out. They're alleging the potato salad is store-bought. And I just know.
Let's keep it real. That potato salad looks like it came straight out Walmart. The Walmart deli. That potato salad that costs $5.95. The container. That don't look like no homemade potato salad. I don't see no celery. I don't see no eggs. That's some Walmart potato salad. Let's continue.
Nick is somewhere in Destination Smokehouse happy as hell. Because he has always stood on the fact that Mr. Tendernism did not cook the food, but did promote the food. And whereas now, as Mr. Tendernism is having to stand on his own and cook his own food. Those of us who know that cooking...
I'm sorry. Y'all know I hate for my food to touch. Yuck. Everybody who knows that even on Thanksgiving, my food cannot touch. He'd have to take that back. The cornbread looks soggy. The beans are touching the cold potato salad. Ain't no way in hell. Return to sender.
Is a lot of work. We totally understand it. When you are paying for food, you do expect a superior product. A lot of times when we're seeing these videos, the food is falling off the bone. That is not what you're going to receive as a customer. And it's so misleading. I know. I get it. This is their fault for, really like overselling what they can cook and what they can do. But you guys, cooking is hard work. And they were talking about Bernard with the chicken. They talking about Mr. Tendernism. They talking about Lee's oxtails being $70. All they're offering is rice. Right now, all the major food content creators are going through it. TikTok and the internet has found out that it's not really all what it's cracked up to be. Y'all let me know what you think about Mr. Tendernism and some of the other names that...
They said that man that be cooking the bear paws and stuff, he was giving out like 2 pieces of chicken. His plates were real skimpy compared to like what he shows on social media. Again, reality versus social media is 2 different things. People thought they was going to get them big super plates that he posts on his page, and they found out, otherwise. So they were all getting drugged. They said Les's barbecue, he was charging $70 for oxtails and just rice. Wasn't no plantain, wasn't no cabbage on the side, just rice and like 4 oxtails, $70. So a lot of people were not happy at all with the festival. Let's go on to the next one.
Unc to do good and I want him to succeed, but he is tripping with these prices. This goes back to the video I made the other day when I said that Jamaican and soul food spots be tripping with their prices because this chicken, that cornbread, and this little thing of macaroni and cheese, I paid $30 for that. And I thought me paying $30 for that was bad, but these are the $40 and $50 plates that Unc are selling at his events. For $40, you get half a rack of ribs, a scoop of potato salad, and a roll. For $50, you get 2 brisket sliders, another scoop of potato salad, and I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty good chunk of brisket right there, but not $50 worth. Look, we love to support Black-owned businesses, but when y'all do stuff like this, y'all...
The fact that the flyer is an AI flyer, y'all should have known. AI gonna make stuff look pretty. The beans on there look perfect. They're plump, and I don't even see no beans on. They must have ran out of beans because the only thing I'm seeing is potato salad at this point. But this whole situation is a mess.
Are pricing yourself out of business. And I don't care if Unc was white, Latino, Asian, Indian, or any other race. If I paid $50 for this, that would have been the last dollar I spent with that person. Cause this food wasn't even bad. And had it been priced decently, I would have went back. But paying $30 for this, I will never go back to them again. And I understand Unc is trying to capitalize off his newfound fame, but mark my words, that candle is gonna burn out quick if he keeps doing stuff like this. Look, I want
So yeah, the internet is going in.
Oh yeah. Mr. Tendernism, go ahead, man. Oh yeah. Look at Mr. Tendernism. You know he was a pimp back in the day. Go ahead, Stone Cold player.
What?
Can't nobody tell Mr. Tendernism nothing. Go ahead, Mr. Tendernism. I see you. When them ribs looking good. What the hell? Mr. Tendernism, we could have put more food on that plate. We could have put some macaroni and cheese in that plate. Them ribs looking good, Mr. Tendernism. I ain't gonna lie. You put your foot in them ribs. Mr. Tendernism, you are out of order. Somebody told me these plates, Mr. Tendernism is selling these plates for $40. Mr. Tendernism, that's robbery. Because you could at least put some drumsticks next to the goddamn ribs. You could at least put more potato salad on the plate. I want my potato salad stacked on the goddamn plate to the point where it's about to fall off. You could have put some goddamn macaroni and cheese. You didn't think about putting no damn macaroni and cheese in the plate. Hey, don't get me started with the baked beans. The baked beans, I saw the little bit of baked beans you put in there. You didn't put enough baked beans. And I could tell them baked beans wasn't homemade. They came right out the goddamn can. Ain't nothing wrong with it. But I'm just saying, Mr. Tendernism, we gotta do better.
Them beans were Bush's baked beans. Wasn't done homemade by none of this mess. You know, and that's the problem is, again, I feel like people unfortunately hyped him up. And so this is the quality of product that people are receiving. I mean, for what they're charging, that is not enough food. There should definitely be some macaroni on there, possibly a vegetable. And I know a lot of folks are like, oh, T, it's all going down the same routes. Why are you picky about your food touching? Sorry. I've always been like that. I do not like my food to touch. I don't care that it's going down the same route. If something is cold, it has to taste cold to me. If my potato salad is supposed to be cold, I do not want hot beans on my potato salad. If something's supposed to be hot macaroni and cheese, I want to taste that hot. I don't like, mixing sweet with salty. Like, I don't know. It's just, maybe I'm weird. I just like for everything to taste a certain way. If I'm eating macaroni, I just want to eat macaroni. I don't want to be eating macaroni and then I'm surprised because there's like a potato salad in there, or I'm eating baked beans and then there happens to be like a piece of cornbread floating in there. Yuck. I don't like my food to touch. I don't even like my greens and cabbage to touch. And they're both, vegetables. You know what I mean? Like I have to be able to taste each thing separately. I'm weird like that. I remember this Jamaican spot in the Twin Cities. I'm not going to blast them, but I remember we had ordered some food and we got home and they had dumped a bunch of the rice and beans on top of the cabbage, which made the cabbage hot. I threw it away. I'm good. I'm not eating that. I would never, ever eat there again. I cannot stand when people just make, and the food was not cheap. You just throw everything in there. So I was like, yeah, nope. So a lot of times I'll even tell them, like, I know there's this particular spot when I'm in Atlanta. They got some real good soul food. I make them put everything in a separate container. They're like, little to-go containers. So I'd be like, please put my peach cobbler in a separate container, macaroni and cheese, separate container, beans, separate container. I don't like my food to touch. I'm not eating beans and peach cobbler. I refuse. So folks are definitely feeling away about what happened. He's just being accused of scamming. Here goes a few more videos. I'm gonna watch a few more here. It's bad when they got that song from what is that, from Boys in the Hood?
Yeah, them was them Tendernism plates, because they had some kind of food festival out there. These were the plates that came from Mr. Tendernism out there. Yeah, so a dinner roll, some burnt ribs, That's supposed to be that's the tender rib, whatever that fall off the bone tenderness. Then he said they ran out of brisket or something, so they just gave niggas brisket. They chopped it up, gave niggas brisket sandwiches, and then some potato salad that was probably out of a container from Sam's Club. Yeah, this is another plate. Oh, them pork and beans that came straight out the can. They didn't even bother seasoning them bitches, add no ketchup, mustard, brown sugar, you know what I'm saying? No barbecue sauce, no ground beef, no onions, no bell pepper, no nothing. Just straight out the can. Straight out the can. Then here go another plate. That's the tender rib. That's the one that was falling off the bone that y'all was going crazy for. Oh man, that's crazy. When I told y'all that clout does not transition to running an actual business, y'all told me I was hating on Mr. Tendernism. Now, when I made that video, y'all told me, why y'all always tearing down the black man? He had to get up from under that white man. I told y'all, at the end of the day, that was that white man's business. Mr. Tendernism just was the funny old man just having fun. But that was that white man business. Now Mr. Tendernism got to actually go out there and do the shit on his own. And it don't look like that shit that was in that restaurant. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. That shit looked like garbage. And then, not to mention, that nigga was only taking pre-orders. From what people said, he only took pre-orders for them plates. $40, $50 plates. Right? He only took pre-orders. So it was no, hey, you walk up and order something. So he knew exactly how much food he should have had to be prepared. And they still ran out of food. How do you run out of food if you took pre-orders? That sounds like a scam. Sorry to tell y'all that. If all you took, listen to me now. You took pre-orders. That's all you did. Which means you knew how much food you had to get to prepare for those orders that were pre-ordered. And you ran out of food within the first hour, 2 hours. Some ain't adding up. Some ain't adding up. I keep telling y'all time and time again. But see, I'm always the hater. I'm always tearing down black people. I hate black people. I'm a coon. I keep telling y'all gonna get enough of getting scammed by niggas. No, y'all not. Motherfuckers gonna get eventually should learn this. Stop letting internet clout think that y'all can fucking run an actual business and have proper business etiquette and procedures and shit when it comes to actually being a true entrepreneur. Clout does not equate to that, bro. But at the end of the day, niggas love clout. Motherfuckers, they are selling you clout because motherfuckers want to be a part of some shit so bad. Niggas love to be scammed. I can't even be mad at him because y'all love to get scammed out of y'all fucking hard-earned inflation Trump dollars. As hard as this economy is now, y'all are running out off of clout to be a part and buy some $45 bullshit ass store-bought food plates. But then we'll get on here and complain about the economy in 100-degree weather just to say, yeah, I was out there for Mr. Tendernism. And he laughing all the way to the bank off y'all dumbasses. Like this shit is just inexcusable, bro. But let me get, well, y'all don't do this to Burger King or McDonald's. Bitch, I will take my motherfucking burger quick back in a hurry. Or my cold ass fry quick back in a hurry to the motherfucking goddamn restaurant. And be like, give me some new shit. But this shit, man. Hey, man, y'all get what y'all deserve, boy.
Yeah, they're saying that there was pre-orders. So this wasn't just, you walk up and you place your order. There was a girl who talked about it. Let me see if I can find, hold on, see if I can find her video here. Hold on. So nobody is muted, huh? Everybody's just talking. Okay, I don't know where her video is at, but she talked about how she put in a pre-order for the $50 plate. And when she went up there to go get her plate, she had the confirmation number. They told her it was all sold out. So he's definitely right. If there were pre-orders made, there's no reason for the food to not have been made for customers who pre-ordered their plates. So the whole situation is crazy. I think what happened is, unfortunately, again, the internet causes separation, right, between him and Nick. We covered this from day one. Nick did start getting jealous and feeling away because it became more about Mr. Tendernism than it did about Destination Smokehouse. So the internet literally broke those two apart, hyped up Mr. Tendernism, start your own brand, start your own business. We'll support you, Unc. And people forget it's a lot to run a restaurant, especially in this economy. The food prices are sky high. At this point, we don't know if people are eating beef or horse, okay? Because, Trump is trying to import a bunch of mystery meat in. So everything is a lot more expensive, plus the time it takes to make the food, to bring the food in, paying staff. It is a lot to run a restaurant. And you can't just run it just based off of you have a big following and people are going to fool with you. It is a lot of work. And I just think that, unfortunately, the virality is drying up for him. Because remember, after he left Destination Smokehouse, he was everywhere. He was on Tamron Hall. He was on this show. He was cooking for the Isley Brothers. So I thought, that's what he was going to do, just be like a private chef or, maybe do pop-ups and appearances. But now they got him back in the kitchen. And that's obviously what he didn't want to do. He was okay just being the front man and having fun. But now he's having to put in work. Y'all seen him going back and forth, setting up them plates. That's a lot. He's an older gentleman. He was already retired. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. If he does end up, opening up a restaurant, like I said, the economy is kind of tough right now. So it might be hard for him to open up a restaurant. But folks are not feeling this. They're not feeling these plates. They feel scammed. They're not here for it. So the whole situation is a mess. Okay. Moneybag Mo's in the building. Thank you, Moneybag Mo. She just sent $399.99. Thank you so much, my Leo sis. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the channel. So, yeah, the whole thing is a mess with Mr. Tendernism, but hopefully, he'll go back to the drawing board and figure it out. But, I did a whole breakdown video that I dropped actually while I was in the hospital about why a lot of black viral restaurants end up going under. And I talked about, the Tendernism drama. I talked about the Turkey Leg Hut, the Pixie plates up in New York. I was talking about them and how they went viral, but then they couldn't sustain everything. So a lot of these situations end up being a cash grab, and then people get upset, they get disgruntled, but hopefully the next festival he's at, the next place he gets invited to, hopefully they will take some of the feedback into consideration and tighten up. Because from what I'm seeing, them plates don't look like Destination Smokehouse plates. I feel like if you was to take that rib bone, all I see is oil. So let's start there. It looks oily and greasy. But I feel like if you took it and you shook it, nothing would shake. It wouldn't fall off the bone. It looks like it's holding on tight to the bone, okay? So meanwhile, let's see what Nick is up to. Let me see. Do I have his video up here? No, I don't. I thought I had it up, but I'm not seeing it. They had him out here. He had some guy, I don't know if he was a rapper or something, talking about the food was so good he wanted me to sign the bone. Just make it. Ain't nobody asked you to sign no damn rib bone. Nick is such a cornball. So he's out there signing rib bones for people. But I thought I had the clip, but I can't find it. So that's the update with Mr. Tendernism. Like I said, hopefully they'll give him, second shot. But people have to be mindful that everything that goes viral does not translate in the real world. And I think he was better off, maybe not even staying with Nick, but just being like the mascot, selling merch, doing things like that, doing pop-up events. But there's no reason that he should be back there cooking and slaving. Especially at his age. You could just tell that was it was hard for him. He's not used to doing all that work, and then you got long lines of people and people are expecting perfection. That's a lot of stress on somebody who's already retired. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about I keep wanting to call them YSL. Earn Your Leisure. EYL. Y'all not get my acronyms mixed up. I'm like, it's not Yvonne Saint Laurent. But the Earn Your Leisure podcast, they've been dealing with a lot of drama as of late. Now, I'm going to keep it real. I'm not into finance gurus on social media. I think they're all full of shit. You know, I have a real CPA, my own financial advisor that I deal with. A lot of these people, especially the ones who came in during COVID, came in during the perfect time. It was a time to grift and go viral and, you know, get PPP loans and everything else. And so they had started these conferences, the Earn Your Leisure conferences, InvestFest, that's the name. They started them, I want to say like around 2020-ish, 2021. And they started doing them in Atlanta. And a lot of people went. You know, I have heard different feedback from people. You know, some of the people I know really liked them and enjoyed them. Other people feel like it's more like a gathering and a kick it than it is really learning. Okay, so it depends on what you're going there for. Are you going to learn business? Are you looking for some big booty, you know what I'm saying, chicks? Who knows? But so what was kind of weird is that for this year's InvestFest, they decided to go onto the Breakfast Club. And during their time on the Breakfast Club, they started blasting the city of Atlanta. They felt like they weren't getting support. They were even comparing their InvestFest to Essence Festival. And Essence Festival has been around, I want to say, damn near 30 years. InvestFest just got here. And then the thing that kind of tripped me out with them going in on Atlanta is they're not even from Atlanta. Like, how are you mad about the mayor and the governor of Georgia and all these, you know, people in high places not supporting your event? You're not even paying taxes to their city. Georgia doesn't get any money from y'all. All that money goes back up north with you out in New York. So they were on the Breakfast Club talking, and they were coming out very, you know, kind of arrogant and rude. And a lot of people in Atlanta were very upset by the things that they said on the Breakfast Club. So they've been in a lot of hot water these past few weeks. So we're going to just kind of break that down here. So, and I know we can't play Breakfast Club clips. So I'm probably going to have to move their clip out of view because, you know, they love to claim some shit. So let me just go ahead and move their little clip, child. So this was them on the Breakfast Club. So we're just going to listen to the audio.
Atlanta's done nothing for us. And, you know, it's an unfortunate situation, but it's one of these things I think a lot.
So y'all hear that? He starts off by saying Atlanta has done nothing for us. Meanwhile, he's done InvestFest in Atlanta every year for, I want to say, at least the past 5 years, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe more.
A lot of times when you're a black entrepreneur, a lot of things are just expected. Like, oh, you got it. Like, you good. Or, you know, and it's like if somebody else would come, like a Forbes or somebody like that, then they would roll out the red carpet and do everything. But nobody's doing what we doing. Like, as far as having 25,000 people a day come, we having billionaires every single year, people at the highest level. We got Serena Williams this year. We had Magic Johnson before. We had 50 Cent before. So,
I mean, Steve Harvey, Issa Rae.
Yeah, we had
Jack
DJ
Dorsey.
Envy, Charlemagne.
Charlemagne.
Ain't nobody. Y'all got this is amazing.
What have y'all asked the city for that they've said no to?
I mean, it's just a matter when you work. So, all right, this is good education because it's like when you work with a city, there's a budget and there's different things that they can do.
Subsidies, municipalities.
So they can help put up billboards. They can help be a liaison with the center. They can help with the police force. They can help with the budget. They can help with
transportation.
They can help with rooms at hotels. They can help with so many different things. And according to ChatGPT, Atlanta's done nothing for us, and you know it's unfortunate.
So y'all heard. Let me come back on the screen. So y'all heard what they said, you know, that Atlanta could put billboards up and help with transportation and hotel rooms and security. This is not a nonprofit. The city of Atlanta don't have to do nothing. You are being helped because you're using the citizens of Atlanta. Most people that are going to InvestFest, granted, people come from all over the country, don't get me wrong, probably, you know, international as well. But the majority of people who go to InvestFest, are people from the Atlanta metro area. That's who the majority of their peoples are. So you have Atlanta citizens spending money with two guys from New York. They're not seeing any benefit of that in their town or city. All that money goes back to NYC. So I just think it's very selfish to then say that, you know, the city of Atlanta needs to do more for you. When you're putting on an event, it's basically on you. I've put many events together in Atlanta. I've never went to the mayor and asked for, you know, a stipend or asked for help. I put up my own damn money. Even when, y'all know, we have security. I have a good relationship with the Atlanta PD. I hire them directly to secure the events, you know, make sure the premises is safe. That shit is not cheap. They be out there through the whole event with that damn cop car out there with the lights on, okay, to prevent anything from happening. That cop car ain't out there because I'm Lovelyti and it's free. I pay for that. So I just don't understand if all these folks are balling and they're rich and, you know, they got it like that. And there's videos of them talking down to their audience and bragging about wearing Prada and all this high-end shit. What's the problem? If I can afford to pay the police and pay for security and food and catering, why can't y'all? And there's two of them. So I just think it's this sense of entitlement and arrogant. It's just really weird. It's really weird. Because like I said, you know, I've put together events. Maybe mine didn't have 30,000 people. I'm not comparing. But I've had events with upwards of 400 people. And granted, that's a lot smaller than 30,000. But they're also selling, their tickets are twice as much. You know, I think their tickets are anywhere from like $300 to $500. And then they have like different VIP packages. I mean, their tickets go upwards of $5,000. From what I've seen. So they get pretty pricey, you know, depending on the packages that you want. So I just don't understand why he's not taking that energy to New York. If anything, why isn't the state of New York not helping you? Why isn't New York City helping you? Why are you not talking to Mamdani? Because he seems to be willing to help. He done gave New Yorkers new trash cans and they're getting rid of the rats. Which I'm excited for. Because them rats, they used to scare the hell out of me when I was out there last summer for the Diddy trial. After a while, I just got used to them. They just started reminding me of cats and dogs. That's how many rats I saw. You know, my second week in New York, I stopped screaming. But that first week, it was like, ah! Every 5 minutes. You know, but it's like, why y'all not asking y'all's mayor to help y'all do something at Invest Fest in NYC instead of having it in Atlanta? So anyways, after all that rant and raving, they end up doing Invest Fest in Atlanta. I know a few people who went, and they said they had a decent time. A lot of the guest speakers, though, to me, when I looked at the roster, the people that were there to speak, you had people like Portia Williams. You had a lot of like reality TV stars. And it's like, do these people have finance backgrounds? Like, I guess I'm just confused. Like, they called Invest Fest, but to me, it just looks like a kickback. You had Kendra G doing some type of women's seminar where they could meet rich men. First of all, rich men who really have it like that, they're not going to Invest Fest to look for women. They run in particular circles. They date in particular circles. They're not coming there to look for wives. Why would they purposely come there to an event where you're saying there'll be rich men here? Why would you think these rich men want to be used for their money? And then when you seen the picture, it was just Kendra and a bunch of women. I'm like, well, where's the beef? Beef stick. I didn't see no men in the room. Just a bunch of women screaming, you know, whatever the hell they was screaming. She had them doing a countdown. It just, you know, it just seems like it's just a way for like influencers, internet personalities, Z-list celebrities, Z-list reality TV stars to just have a platform. And with the way the money's not moneying, of course they're going to come to Invest Fest. Of course, you know, you can pull them in. They ain't got shit else to do. The advertising money has dried up. So if you're willing to give them a little bit of coin, they're going to come. You know, that's a no-brainer. So after that, they got a lot of critiques. Oh, first let me play you what the mayor had to say. Andre Dickens, he replied back to them. He wasn't feeling what they said. So we're going to listen to what the mayor had to say back to Earn Your Leisure. we can use this clip.
Radio to talk about ATL, like that sound backwards. And then if you think you trying to start a bidding war, everything in New York costs 3 times as much. And InvestFest is 25,000 people. 20,000 of them live in Atlanta or Metro Atlanta, so they don't use a hotel room, they don't rent a car and all that kind of stuff. So you want to think that your target audience, which is black folks of success and of note, it's Atlanta. So, let's lock in on what a future looks like. Let's come up with a community benefits package, because I ain't just, you charge a lot for people to go to InvestFest. So if you want to get city support in that, let's talk about what actually supports the city. And I have great conversations with everybody.
I was thinking about InvestFest the other day, and I was thinking, do you just keep it in Atlanta?
Yeah, we don't care what you're thinking, because... And can I say one more thing? I don't know if y'all are ready for this conversation. At what point in time are people going to hold the Breakfast Club and platforms like Earn Your Leisure accountable for as many scammers that have gone through their platforms? It's been a lot of scammers who went through the Earn Your Leisure pipeline and the Breakfast Club. Let's not forget, this bozo here was the one who introduced a lot of people to Cesar Pina. And a lot of people lost their money investing into homes and apartment buildings that were not there. So at what point in time are people going to start holding places like the Breakfast Club and Earn Your Leisure accountable for them not doing their due diligence, for them not checking out a lot of these people who end up being scammers? So again, like the mayor said, they charge a lot of money. Like, this is not a free event. This is not a nonprofit event. Those tickets are upwards of several $1,000s. So for them to act like they should be getting all these freebies from Atlanta, and like he said, this is not going back into Atlanta's pocket. Now, if you want to talk some real business, you have my number. So I just, the sense of entitlement to me was wild. Let me play this other clip here. So people started talking about it. So here's one young lady giving her experience. A lot of people are saying that it wasn't worth it. They didn't really learn too much. So we'll watch some of the reactions here.
You are delusional as hell. Why on earth would the city of Atlanta put up billboards for a business conference? And y'all are not even locals. And y'all are charging for the tickets. It's not a nonprofit. It's not community service. And then y'all was literally pedestalizing scammers and people who present day business is failing. Me and my man went in I think it was 2022 or 2023, one of those years. And literally one of the people that was on the panel was Pinky Cole, who we all know her business is failing and she supposedly don't pay her employees. And then it was another guy, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. It was one of them investing guys who was giving out financial advice when he was not a financial advisor. And I think he got arrested for fraud. Like, what in the hell? And I think it also goes to show this delusional mentality that a lot of transplants have when it comes to Atlanta, is that they think that Atlanta's supposed to change. Honestly, I feel like Atlanta is the way people treat LA, like they think they're going to move to LA and their life is going to change just because they're in LA. That's how people treat Atlanta. They think that because they come here and there's a lot of success here, there's a lot of black success, that the city is supposed to just do shit for, that's so delusional. Like, in what world would the city of Atlanta, first of all, we need these potholes fixed. Fuck a InvestFest. Okay, and if they were going to give some money to a business, don't you think it would be a local business that's actually doing something to give back to the community? Ooh. It was sunny all morning. Why I want to rain right when I'm finna leave to go to work? That's actually crazy.
Another thing that kind of tripped me out is they had Big Meech there at InvestFest. And I'm just like, why is he at InvestFest? That makes absolutely no sense. See if I can find it. Yeah, here it is. Big Meech, he made a surprise appearance at InvestFest. Hold on, pull up this clip instead here. Oops. Right there, Big Meech. What does he have to talk about investments when he took more from Atlanta, he sold drugs? So to me, it just seems like it's just more of a kick it fest than anything else. It doesn't come off like a real festival. It just doesn't. It comes off like a place for celebrities and, you know, washed up gangsters to get up on the platform and talk about what they've been through in life. I don't know. I just don't know how much investment and money talk is really going on. Like, of all people, Big Meech. Okay, girl. So after a lot of the criticism that they got, they went off. They said that basically InvestFest is no longer a black it's no longer a black event. They're catering to other races. It was never really a black event. So they just start going off because they got a lot of criticism from people who felt like it was more of a kick it, like a social gathering, than it was anything about investment and finances. And the way the economy is looking, people are really looking for real financial advice. So let's watch this clip here. Okay, so this is where he says basically InvestFest is no longer a black event.
Some of the dumbest things I've seen online even before the event, somebody was like, we have events like this every single week in Atlanta. You're an idiot for saying that. You never did it. But I'm not even on the black thing no more. I never was on the black thing. Not a black event. Cause I seen somebody else that said that, like, it was white people. Yeah, they're qualified to be there. Like, what do you mean? Like, you think I'm gonna cater just to black people just to get torn down by black people? You out of your fucking mind. There's gonna be even more white people next year, and Spanish and the Filipinos, of course. Like, I'm done. It's been real. Yeah. Well, for what? The only thing you're gonna do is criticize it and tear it down. And not pay and want to get it for free anyway.
Rashad, if black people built this, we can't find a black.
Well, I'm confused as to who got in for free outside of your celebrity friends. The average man and woman who went to InvestFest, they paid several $100s to get in. Because I think the minimum ticket for one day was $300. So who are all these people who are trying to come in for free? I can assure you not one celebrity paid to get in. But yet it's easier to punch down on the regular man and woman who bought a ticket and who actually supported. And they said it was about 30,000 people who showed up throughout the weekend. So that's a good amount of people who came out to support. So for him to be talking like this, you know, just because he doesn't like the feedback is insane.
All inclusive.
People put labels on you that you yourself didn't put on yourself.
Oh,
you never called it the Black Investment Conference.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not a black financial literacy conference. It's a business conference. It's one of the biggest business conferences in the world. Because that's how they minimize you also. Oh, this is one of the biggest black finance. No, what are you talking about? It's not a financial literacy conference. It's a business investing conference. It's not a black financial literacy investment community-based organization. No, don't compare it to any, no disrespect. It's not the NAACP community give back charity no, it's not. This shit's not funny when you still living in your mom's house at 35 years old. Joke's on you. Some of the dumbest things I've seen.
You know, again, punching down at the same audience that's supporting him. You know, you don't know why somebody's living with their mom's house at 32 years old. Times are hard. You know, it's hard for people to get mortgages. The interest rate is super high. So for somebody who's supposedly in finance, you would know that. That wouldn't be a dig that you would take at somebody. A lot of people are having to move in with other people, you know, having to get roommates at grown ages because, I mean, if you look around outside, food prices, gas, everything is going up. So why make fun of somebody because they have to live with the parent or that they have to get a roommate? Find some more clips here. So after all that nonsense, he wanted to come back on Isaac Hayes called him out and then he eventually apologizes. So we're going to watch this video here.
Not a black event. It's not a black financial literacy conference. No disrespect. It's not the NAACP community give back charity no, it's not.
I know building something in public with criticism is very, very hard. But the one thing that you can't ever do is fold on your people. Trust me, I've gotten it from every which way. But I'm never gonna not be on the black thing. White people don't need your help. And this is typically where shit goes left. Your biggest person at InvestFest that you have is Miss Business, and she's black. That's the black thing. All the guests that you primarily brought to all the InvestFests, Steve Harvey, Robert F. Smith, Serena Williams, 50 Cent, that is the black thing. It's disappointing because this was the most successful InvestFest that you guys have had in a black city with black culture. You used black music to promote it. You went on black radio stations to promote it. And then now all of a sudden it's not a black thing. This reeks of white validation. This reeks of your goal and your intention is to eclipse black culture and black success to stand amongst white people and around white folks. And if that's what it is, you're no different than them because you built it off the back of black people. And that's just not, that ain't cool. So have a vacation, take a little time, come back, be like, I was true.
So, like I said, they got a lot of heat for saying what they said because they definitely used the black city to come up in black people. So now, let me see, trying to find his apology. Okay, so here goes his apology. Let me pull it up on this other screen. All right. So this is him apologizing after backlash from everywhere.
I really do want to say that if I hurt you in that commentary, I truly am sorry for that. Because that wasn't what.
Oh, sons of snitches.
Don't you love when someone gives you an apology and they're like, well, if I hurt you.
If I offended you.
If I did something wrong.
Not that I did something wrong.
Yeah, but if I did, then all right, I'm sorry. All right.
And I really do want to say that if I hurt you in that commentary, I truly am sorry for that. Because that wasn't what.
Oh, sons of snitches.
Let me see if I have another clip here. Okay, here goes somebody else responding to their apology as well.
Reflection and real humility. This apology reeks of forced damage control. It does not even smell like real reflection and real humility. Because even in the apology, he still sounds angry and self-righteous in the apology. If you really don't feel like you're sorry about what you said, then it's better that you just not apologize, bro. Like just own that shit. Stand on it and stand in it. Like if it ain't a black conference, it ain't a black conference. And all that comes with that. But also there were certain things he said that were in the apology that were also very arrogant. What you gave 19 Keys a platform? You gave Queen Afua a platform? What? Queen Afua been famous before he was even born. Like these people have had platforms way before you that are like way bigger than yours. Like did nobody learn about these people from you? I don't know. It was the things he was saying was very much like, oh, you know, like wasn't nobody giving these people a platform? How about I apologize because what I said was ignorant and I was frustrated, and what I should have said was this: how I feel as a black business owner is X, Y, and Z, but it came out wrong. I apologize. And you know what? I could never turn my back on a community that y'all gave us a shot. Not the other way around. The black community gave y'all a shot. They trusted y'all with their hard-earned money. Okay? So I like that, owning that and going fully there with it would have been a much better apology, or a much more believable apology, because this just feels honestly like bullshit. And it seems like he don't get it. I don't know. What do y'all think?
So as you see, a lot of people were not feeling his apology and what he had to say. So I was hoping I had the full apology, but I don't know if they deleted it. It was kind of hard to find without people's commentary attached to it. So I think this is what's going on with Earn Your Leisure and other people on social media, especially the ones who came in with the finance grift, because that's what a lot of it is. They're not spilling any type of new information. A lot of this information you can find online. You know, like I said, you can get with a CPA, somebody who is a certified accountant, and learn a lot of this info. There's no such thing as quick money. And there's risks in any type of investment. And for years, we've watched people come and sell folks a dream simply because they had a platform. We saw the Airbnb hustle. Now all the Airbnbs are crashing, okay? We saw the whole flipping houses and making money. And now people are starting to come out and admit that, you know, buying a bunch of apartments and homes and stuff like that may have not been the best investment for them. Because it sounds good. You buy a $50,000, you know, rundown home, you know, you flip it, you make it look nice. You know, you put like $100,000 worth of work into it, then you put it on the market for $200,000, or you can rent it out. You know, you can have renters in there, and people never talk about the downside. You know, the renters who refuse to pay and who mess up the house, and how you have to, you know, renovate every few years, or, you know, people who just tear stuff up. And so they make it seem like this is just quick, easy money. It doesn't come that way. And this is why now you have a lot of people putting up homes for sale, getting rid of their renters. You have a lot of these corporations like BlackRock coming in and buying everything. There's more corporate landlords because a lot of regular landlords, they can't handle it anymore. So there's never a risk without an investment. But I think part of the issue that's going on with a lot of these channels who were like really popping in 2020 and 2021, 2022, is that the money is not moneying, meaning the views are not viewing. They're not getting the same amount of views that they used to get. And one thing, they're not getting the same amount of views. Let me play this guy's clip, because he did this video about a year ago when they were crashing out, when people were saying, yeah, y'all are not getting the same amount of views. What's going on with y'all's channel? And they were kind of upset. So I'm going to play you a few clips from this YouTuber, and then I want to speak more on that. Let me see here. Okay. And this is from The Stop. It's his channel. So we're just going to watch a clip.
Your Leisure's channel, they have 1.5 million subscribers. Their channel is dead.
Boy, everybody taking the beef angle until you get slapped like a.
I see you, I'm gonna say something.
Love the losers.
Rashad from EYL threatens to slap his enemies. That's right, y'all. On a recent episode of Earn Your Leisure's Blackout, Rashad started to set aim at the people who's been dissing his channel, and he came off a bit unhinged as he was talking about, you know, slapping people and, you know, doing all of this crazy fab stuff that I talked about in my last video. For those of you that don't know, Earn Your Leisure's YouTube views are down in the tank after a series of missteps and making too much content that no one cared about. The views have plummeted. But what is interesting is the response from Rashad, who kind of looks like the leader of Earn Your Leisure, more so than Troy. He's not as vocal. He's a little bit more measured in tone. Rashad jumps out the window, and jump out the window he did. Now, he's talking about smacking people and stuff like that, and I think the people he's talking about are two people in specific. I think he's talking about this channel called Echoes from Above. They've been making content about the fall of Earn Your Leisure. And then he also might be talking about JT the Pocket Watcher. JT the Pocket Watcher has been on Earn Your Leisure's head top, and he gets a lot of views and now he's even competitive to Earn Your Leisure. So I think he might be talking about them. They could also be talking about me. I recently did a video talking about why Earn Your Leisure's views are in the tank and how they could get better. But I don't think he's talking about me because I largely kept it respectful, and overall I feel like my measured
tone was a bit more easier to.
So you get what he's saying. I want to skip to this part here. I took a timestamp. Was it 10? Okay. This is him in the car crashing out again.
Sick to their stomach. They're gonna have to have Pepto-Bismol. That's why they say like, yo, you're going too far. I said, I'm not going far enough.
That NBA lifestyle he probably thought was coming. And now what you're seeing is the ill effects of that. But nonetheless, once again, this was on Blackout, Earn Your Leisure's Blackout, which is, to me, an attempt to see if they could establish non-financial content in the light of financial content plummeting. Because they're not the only guys this is happening to. You look at Stock Mo's channel, there's a white YouTuber. His stuff is in the dirt. His stuff ain't hitting. I remember Stock Mo. When I used to watch YouTube, this guy.
Okay, so y'all get the point. Y'all get what he's trying to say. Is that a lot of the finance channels are not hitting like they were. A lot of people are really into that, especially during 2020, the COVID lockdown. People had all this extra, PPP money. They were trying to find ways to invest. I remember Earn Your Leisure was out here. Who's the other guy? Jay Morrison and the Tulsa, Oklahoma Fund. He was another scam artist, and they platformed him as well, did many interviews with him. He was also on The Breakfast Club. Cesar Pina. You just had all of these people who were out and about. And so I think part of the reason why they're crashing out is because the views are not viewing. And if you understand YouTube, you get money based on views. And when you're not getting the views that you were once getting, you're not getting the money that you were once getting. So probably at some point in time when they were really popping, they may have been making anywhere from, $20 to $30, $50, $60,000 a month. So to go from that, and then you're splitting it two ways, to barely getting any views, to go from, let's just say, rough estimate, $20,000 a month to the views they get now, it's probably maybe down to $3,000, $4,000 a month. And I feel like that's why a lot of these folks end up crashing out and going off and blaming the audience. But my thing is this, right? If you're very financially savvy and you have all this money, because that's what all these finance guys talk about. Oh, I have, Rolexes and houses and cars and this and that. Then you'd be straight even if your views did tank. Because remember, you guys are supposed to be educating the people on how to make money and how to, get rich and all this other stuff. But the truth of the matter that people don't want to admit, which I don't understand why, is that most of these people are making money off of YouTube. The money that they're getting, the way they're able to support themselves is off of a YouTube check. Why is that so hard? And I noticed that it's very hard for the men to admit that. They act like they're getting all this money from outside sources, investments, and, pimping out bitches on OnlyFans. No, you're getting a YouTube check like everybody else. You work for Google just like me and everybody else. But it's like for some of these guys, it's so hard to admit that that's where their main bulk of their money is coming from. YouTube checks and selling courses. Remember the Dusty podcast, the two guys, Myron and the other one, Fresh and Fit. Remember, they were acting like, I work for the FBI and I have all this money and I'm in Miami, da-da-da. And then what happened when YouTube demonetized their channel? Look how sick they were. They were crying. And I'm like, well, if y'all were rich and y'all had money before YouTube, why do you care if your channel is demonetized? Oh, because you really didn't have it like that. YouTube was sustaining your lifestyle. And now that you've been demonetized, you're crashing out. So I think that's what people need to understand is that a lot of these folks who come on here with all this, financial know-how and, ways to hustle and get rich quick, they're only doing that because it's something for them to do. It's views for them to get. It's content for them to make. And I'm not saying that you can't make money off of, back then the Airbnb market when it was good, there were definitely ways to have side hustles and make money. But once things get oversaturated, it's hard to. If you didn't jump on it when it first started, it's hard to come at the tail end. And another thing that people need to also understand is if I'm rich and I got a hustle that's really working for me, why would I share that with the rest of the world? Does that make sense? I'm only sharing it because it's content and I'm getting paid off of the content. People who are really millionaires, who really make real money moves, you wouldn't even know it. They're not showboaty. They're not running around here, looking like a Louis Vuitton luggage case. They blend in. They don't want you even knowing that they got money like that. They move in silence. So a lot of this stuff is just a hustle. Just like I was watching bits and pieces of Portia Williams, her speech or whatever she was doing, her segment at Earn Your Leisure, at InvestFest. And she's literally up there talking about how, because she went through a divorce and she went through all this and that's what sparked her to start her hair company. And now she's making all this money from Go Naked, hair. And, it's cool to just switch your look up. And she's literally just telling a story. She's just talking as she goes. Fuck are you talking about? You've been wearing weave before you ever got married to any of these bozos. And you're not telling people how to get the bag. You're just literally telling your story. And I bet you any money, all she's doing is getting the hair from like Alibaba and then putting her logo and everything. She, you know what I'm saying? She's doing, what is that called? When you put your logo on something like on makeup, I can't think of the name. Y'all can write it in the chat. She's just putting her brand on it. She's not going to China and sourcing this hair. She's not going to the Indian temples and going through, cutting off virgin Indian hair and, making sure she's not doing any of that. She has a brand and she's able to profit off of that brand. And there's nothing wrong with that, but stop trying to act like, thank you, private label. I appreciate y'all. Private label. That's what most of these people are doing. They're just private labeling stuff. And, not to knock Portia, Kylie Jenner. All the clothing that she supposedly made. She doesn't sew. She doesn't really know anything about fashion. All her and Kendall did was put their name in the label of stuff that they were getting from Alibaba and things like that. They're just private labeling stuff. A lot of the makeup and things like that. They're not out there really messing with chemists and seeing the formulations. It's pretty much, oh, you're popular. You have millions of followers. Let's start a lipstick line for you. Let's start an eyeshadow palette for you. But yet they'll get up here and act like what they're doing, like they're the first to ever make a lip gloss or they're the first to sell hair weave. YouTuber has been selling hair weave for years on YouTube and promoting weave. But all of a sudden hers is different because her brand is attached to it. So I think that's where people just need to use like a lot of common sense and understand that a lot of the people that they place in front of you are just regular people. The only difference is they have a brand and they have a following, so they can capitalize on that. And if you don't have some type of following, it's a lot harder to break through. So a lot of this stuff is a hustle for them. When you're paying for their classes to hear how to start your own hair company, you're not going to get that. It's just going to be a bunch of mushmouth talk about themselves. That's why I stopped going to any empowerment brunches. Remember the empowerment brunches of Atlanta? Every Sunday they be an empowerment brunch and, women getting together and supporting other women and this and that. And you would go to these empowerment brunches. I never paid to get in because I'd be with my friend. But we'd go, people would spend, upwards of $300-$400 for these brunches. The food would be okay, wasn't nothing to write home about. And it's really women up there just bragging about their lifestyle. Yeah, I started this business and that business. Okay, well, how did you get the funding for said business? What loans did you take out? What bank did you go through? Oh, well, my man is rich. He's in the NFL. Well, we're not the same. Like they're never giving out really useful information. So just say that your man invested into your dreams and we didn't need to pay $400 for this. Just say you got a rich boyfriend and he decided to start you a boutique. But you got regular women who are coming in there who are like, dang, I want to start my own business. How do I go about getting a business loan? None of that information is talked about a lot of times. So I think that's where a lot of their anger is coming from, is the fact that they're not getting the views that they're getting. And right now they have to basically depend on that money from InvestFest. And it's not easy to put together a conference like that. It's a lot of money that you have to put up front. That's why they were upset, and they feel like, Atlanta needs to help more because they're the ones fronting a lot of that upfront capital. As they should, it's their event. But if they're not making that money back in some way, shape, or form through YouTube, through other social media platforms, then it ends up leaving them more and more in the hole. And I think that's why they're lashing out. That's why they're going off. That's why they're blaming the Black community. That's why they're looking to expand outside of the Black community. That's why they don't want to be labeled a Black event, because they feel like if they're labeled a Black event, it then puts them in a box where white people won't feel as comfortable coming or investing or wanting to learn. But the thing is, you came up using Black folks. You came up using the Breakfast Club, which is a Black platform. You're using Black influencers, Black celebrities. So then you can't then turn around and say that you're not a Black event or that you don't want to have nothing to do with Black folks because a few YouTubers made videos calling y'all out. So the whole situation is a mess, but that's just my opinion on it. I just think, and it's for a lot of YouTubers. Hell, I can be honest. My views are not what they used to be. YouTube was cleaning up house. Hell, I went, almost 3 months without making any videos. So I'm having to play catch up. And that's okay. But I'm not going to come on here and go off on my audience and, y'all need to do this and y'all not doing that. And damn it, where's the super chats? You don't do that. Especially in these, in this time and age with everything going on with the economy. Everybody can't afford to fly out and go to InvestFest. Everybody can't afford to, just drop $300-$400 on tickets. If they can, be grateful and be happy. But that might not be everybody's situation. So don't knock folks. And the thing is, like I said, this is one of their best turnouts from what they said. 30,000 people is nothing to sneeze at. But obviously, to me, if I look at it from a financial point of view, it seems to me that they spent way more money than they got in return. And that's why they're feeling away. But that's just what it is. Anytime you take a chance on putting together an event, you'll be lucky if you break even. You might make a few $1,000s, but a lot of times you usually, if you're putting together a good event and you're just doing it, just for the love of it, a lot of times you end up in the hole. And if you can afford it, you eat it. A lot of times when I do my events, I don't make money off the events. I think only one time we hit close, where we hit right at budget, but a lot of times I lose a few $1,000s. But it's okay. As long as y'all get the oxtail lasagna and y'all like it, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pay the little, $900 a pan. It is what it is. I go hard for the people who go hard for me. So sometimes you just got to take that loss. If you're really in it for the people and you really want them to learn and you lost, several $1,000s on it, then so be it. Then you restructure next year. Maybe you go to a smaller venue. Maybe invite less people. You know what I'm saying? Less celebrities. So I think that's what it is. Oh, y'all talking about Scammy Daniels, Stormy? She's another one with her MLM. All that fast talking, get rich quick. Remember, everybody was selling them that NutriBurst tea and all that other stuff. It was just a way for her to get money. That's all that was. So it's a mess. Not Letitia Pearson's, from the Bell Collective. She stays having an empowerment brunch. What are you empowering? You and Glenn's relationship is a mess. I don't know what Letitia does for a living outside of Bell Collective. At least with Latrice, her and her man actually got coins. They actually have businesses that we can see on the show. But I don't see the same for Letitia. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. Let's see here. Equela Brada said $9.99. Says, thank you for all you do, Auntie. Giving you your flowers. Thank you so much. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the love and support, sis. Let's see here. Mandarin sent a $5 super sticker. Thank you so much, Mandarins. Don Today Light Madness sent $4.99. Says, did you hear about the Texas Roadhouse? A group was exposed for, yeah, I heard about it. Ugh, disgusting. I heard about it. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. This is why I don't even go out to eat as much anymore. Hell, it's hard to even figure out what's safe to eat. If they're not recalling something, now you got a bunch of folks talking about they're speeding in people's food, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I did hear about that, though. I could have threw up. I just don't understand how people play with people's food like that. Scary. Let's see here. Rondar said he should have just did a food truck. Yeah, that might have been easier too. Just have a food truck and, travel to different cities and stuff like that. But even with a food truck, it's still a lot of work though. He's an older gentleman, so it still would be a lot of work. He'd have to have a good staff, and, food prices are a lot higher now. I don't know if he wants to take on that headache, especially with the internet blasting him and, going in on him. Shout out to all the new members. Thank you guys for joining the membership. Let's see here. Candy Ling. She sent $4.99. She says, hey, T, are you going to talk about the girl Angel who faked being a PA student at Duke? I heard a little bit about that. She's a bozo. Another stupid idiot trying to go viral, trying to be an influencer. It's just sad. The things that people do to build a brand. It's no different than a lot of these fake white girl influencers who sit around and act like they're rich. And, they're starting to clock that girl, Becca Bloom, the Asian lady. They're saying she's not really rich, that she's filming on her content in the clubhouse of her apartment building. So a lot of these people do these fake it till you make it. I don't understand the point of that. It's weird, especially being that it's easy for people to just investigate. Just like with Cheyenne Bryant, but unfortunately, that's the mentality. People feel like if they can, fake it till they make it, gather a bunch of influencers, hawk a bunch of stuff to them, then the ends justify the means. So, let's see here. New Moon Libra sent $5. Says, I used to buy financial courses from successful women, but quickly realized many are selling courses talking around the bag instead of getting to it. Exactly. A lot of times people who sell courses, it's nothing but a hustle, and a lot of them steal courses from other people. Then they'll just rewrite it and use it with their brand on front. So yeah. A lot of stuff you can find online by just searching, taking time to research and things like that. Everything I had to learn when it came to like building homes, selling them, building custom homes. I had a few bumps in the road, what I'm saying? But I sat online and I just researched and took notes and studied, what I'm saying? And found the best way to build a custom home, what I'm saying? The best way to buy a home, sell it, get money off of it, things like that. You don't really need a course for that. You just have to know how to look up the information. And then, like I said, if it's too good to be true, a lot of times it's BS. Just like when Ty Lopez would sell all those courses, how to become a millionaire really quick. Because, after a while, I'm like, am I doing something wrong? Like, why is everybody on YouTube driving a Ferrari? Like, what am I doing wrong? And, my CPA would be like, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not a scammer. You're letting your money grow, through investments and, IRAs and things like that, through trust and things that make sense. What they're doing is just fast money. And I remember she was telling me this all through COVID. They're all eventually going to get caught. They're all scamming. That's not how money works. Money grows slow. It's nothing that happens overnight when it comes to investing anyways. So you got to remember that. Miss Twilight sent $5. Says T, you look gorgeous, hun. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, sis. Let's see here. Anna sent a $5 sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And let's see here. Zanea sent 5. Says, hey T, I've always wanted to tell you this, that you look like Dolly Parton, especially with the smile. Glad you're doing fine. Peace and love. Okay, girl. Now, I'm a fan of Dolly Parton, but I don't think, maybe got big boobs. I don't think I look like Dolly Parton, but Dolly Parton is a beautiful woman, though. She is, and rest in peace to her. I just found out earlier that she passed away, so definitely rest in peace to her. So now I want to get on the Master P. We got to talk about Master P, child. He's back, y'all. And y'all know I did a 2-part series. I did a 2-part deep dive on Master P and all his bullshit, his scamming ways, just the game that he's ran on the community. So I'm not shocked at all that he's back trending. So what happened with Master P is this. I'm going to play the video in just a second. Let me share my screen here. Okay. So legendary rapper Master P says, our culture needs to stop harping on slavery. Let's get the negative mindset out of our culture. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. Okay? So a lot of people are not feeling this at all. We're going to go ahead and listen to what Master P has to say.
Throw that out of their garage. Like, feel nice, throw that out of his garage. And I tell people all the time, look, it's not about a color. Like, think about it. Even though when I help black-owned business, I'm doing that because we at the bottom of the totem pole. But we want to create product for everybody. This product is for everybody, blacks, white, Asian, Latino. But it don't have too many black-owned companies. Like, show me how many black-owned tennis shoe companies out there that's making functional shoes that actually own it. It's not that many. It's a problem.
Yeah.
So when I find a problem, you know, my passion get like, I need to do this. I got to show the world. In the food industry, I realized that we didn't have enough healthy alternative foods for us. So I found a problem. I created Miller Family Food. I said, well, you know, I got to make healthy alternative food, snacks, everything.
Is that based out of New Orleans?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so I was inspired by going to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, you know, in the Black Wall Street, 1920, what happened to our people. And it's like you had so many successful, rich black people, and it was burned down. But I met this guy that owned a grocery store called Oasis.
A.J. Johnson.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my food in your grocery store, and I'm going to support you. We support all these other companies. But why not support Oasis and AJ?
He's doing good stuff in the community, and what you know about that store, as I've been down there, is that the predominantly of that area that's white is poor individuals who, you know, and so I love the work that he's doing. But when you think about, again, being yourself, what's been the biggest surprise of the stardom? I mean, you've been in this game for a very, very long time. What's been the biggest surprise about it all?
Our own culture don't believe that we could do it. You know, because they just don't get it. They're like, how you could do this? I mean, like, if I could do it, anybody could do it. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just got to have integrity and do good business. And these doors will open up for you, building great relationships. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, trying to get that negative mindset out of our culture, because they still going back to, oh man, slavery, they did us this. And I'm like, you still harping on that, man. I never harped on that, because I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And I think you got to get used to us being successful. And I think a lot of us, we block our own blessings because we don't think that we could do it because we're looking at a color. So, I mean, Muhammad Ali was a guy that, and I loved like his story, because he didn't care about that. He just wanted to be around good people, but he did represent for the culture. Right. And I want more African American owned tennis shoe companies. I don't want this just to be me. I want so many different product brands owned by us, but making it for everybody. Because think about it, when other cultures make products, they don't make it for them, they make it for everybody. And so I want that mindset of our people. If I could change that, that's the way we're going to bridge the wealth gap.
What's been the biggest negative surprise of it all? The biggest negative surprise of the stardom?
Our people can't work together. Think about when I go down Rodale Drive and see all these stores. They're owned by all the same kind of looking people. None of them fighting. None of them caring about what each other have or got. And I love that. I want to see that for our culture and our people. That's why I fight to educate our culture and our people. Because we got to get on that page. Like, we get on that page, we're going to be dangerous because we spend $1 trillion a year.
2.1 trillion.
2.1 trillion. Think about it. And we don't own nothing. And we make 0.1% of black CEOs in Fortune 500 companies, but we spending all the money. Somebody look like us.
Okay, so if you've been on this channel for any length of time, y'all know how I feel about Master P. You know, I'm a fan of his music. I mean, I'm a child of the 90s. You know, I'm a no limit soldier. But when it comes to his business, he's such a fucking hypocrite. And what I've noticed with Master P, like I said, I did an 8-hour deep dive on him. That's how much I broke Master P down succinctly. Okay, if you have not watched my deep dive on Master P, go watch it. But what I've noticed about Master P that irks me is that every time he's ready to hawk some new shit, he always has to throw daggers and digs at the black community. Just say you're trying to sell your new aqua blue, your Air Force Nun Hunteds, okay? You didn't have to bring up slavery and saying that black folks don't support each other. You just want black folks to buy your shit. That's really what it boils down to, okay? My issue is, let's not forget, it wasn't too long ago, hold on, that Master P was on The Breakfast Club. Let me see if I have that clip. This was back in 2020, before him and Romeo fell out and had that huge beef. So let's go back to 2020, because we keep receipts. Do you see how sloppy this looks? And I'm not even going to play the clip yet. But I want y'all to just look at the display. You got two pair, and I don't care if the shoes are brand new. You have shoes on the table, ramen noodles, and then an open bag of chips. And then they were also hawking the t-shirts and a Balenciaga hat. And he came in 2020, and, you know, he had a lot to say about the community, not supporting him, not supporting the chips. And then we find out later on, after him and Romeo fell out and they got into it, Romeo stated that Master P don't even support, that he doesn't even own Rap Snacks. We're thinking Romeo's rich. This is generational wealth. I went down the rabbit hole. He doesn't even own any of this stuff. He's basically the brand ambassador. But he wants black people to think that he's the one in the factory, you know, mixing and concocting the flavors and this and that and this. No, he's just the face of the brand. He doesn't even own Rap Snacks. Okay? So I'm going to play this clip for y'all. I got to move it, though, because, you know, Breakfast Club, you can't use their video. So give me just a second here. No, that ain't the right one. Hold on. Oh. All right. We're going to listen to this really quick.
African American man did something. You know, yeah, everything is a work in progress, but you could see the growth. Mm-hmm. We don't see the growth. We don't see the potential because we don't have a vision. Just because we come from the streets.
Each other.
Yeah. Oh man, we hate on each other.
You know how many brands out there they have, and then when we do one, we critique each other so crazy. Mm-hmm. It don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to grow from that?
Yeah.
You got to start.
Well,
from somewhere.
You know what it is though, Charlamagne? I got to look at this.
our people know we own it, so that's why we don't want to buy it. I ain't about to make him rich, but you don't even know the other people. It's like record companies. You got all these labels with all these guys, owners of these companies, but you only going after the people that you can relate to, the people that you can see that's on the front line with you. You never hear nothing bad about none of these other company owners. Nothing happened to them. Nobody trip on them, but we point the finger. We make all these things about people that look like us that's coming from nothing and trying to create wealth in a business for our people.
So how do we build more cultural trust amongst each other?
Well, I think
Next, let me okay, so like I've said, you only see him when he's ready to hawk stuff. Cause Master P's money ain't been money in a long time. You know, WAC 100 called him out years ago, said it's some white Armenian lady taking care of him, allegedly. But his money ain't been money in forever. And like I said, I followed him for years. And I just would clock like, this man is not a multimillionaire. A lot of people have a name, they have a reputation, they're rappers and entertainers. So we automatically equate that with wealth. But people who are really wealthy, they're not hawking random tennis shoes. They're not doing interviews with tennis shoes in the frame. They're not doing interviews with open bags of rap snacks. That's not how people who have money move. And so this is just some of the stuff. I'm going to show y'all a piece of my deep dive. Usually I don't show any, but I'm going to show y'all a piece of my deep dive where I kind of broke down all of the stuff that Master P be hawking. 1996 of neglecting to report its first year's earnings to the IRS. Miller is also the founder of the hip-hop label No Limit Records, and the alleged tax crime, he could have served a maximum of 5 years. So that was in 2004. And then he ended up filing bankruptcy. And then in 2018, he was accused of refusing to pay another tax settlement. They were saying at that time that he owed $1.5 million in tax debt to the IRS. And so they wrote this: according to the documents obtained by the Blast, Master P owes taxes from 2004 for over $1 million, in 2005 for over $305, and in 2008 for $4,447.50. A grand total of unpaid taxes come to $1.5 million. The IRS said that if Master P didn't cough up the money soon, they will begin the process of seizing his assets and properties to collect the debt. The lien remained active and has yet to be released by the IRS. In 2004, the rapper had a cameo in Scary Movie 3 and released his 11th studio album, Good Side, Bad Side, after filing for bankruptcy in 2003. So it's very apparent that Master P has had several tax and IRS issues. So WAC 100 wasn't lying about that. But I got to thinking about what he was saying, that if he was really rich, why is he selling noodles? Why is he selling all this stuff? And like I said, I've been following Master P. Like, he's one of the few celebrities I actually do follow. I follow him and a few of his kids. And the more I thought about all this stuff that I've watched Master P hawk on my timeline over the years, and it doesn't add up. If you're wealthy and you're creating generational wealth, why do you have to hawk so many different items? At what point in time are you going to focus on one or two things and perfect that and get that done and over with? But it seems like all he's done is just every other month it's a new product, it's a new this, it's a new that. And like I said, I've watched this on my IG page for over, close to 4 years. So I'm going to show you guys a short montage of just all the things I've seen on my timeline over the years of stuff that Master P has been trying to sell. And it just does not make any sense. On top of that, in 2020, he would always post all these new things that he was involved in. At one point in 2020, he was... I'm going to fast forward.
When me and Mercy came up with Master Clean Life a year ago to help support any city youth, kids,
selling dish soap.
We also want to be different.
Yeah, what's really different about us is everything's answered.
Y'all not bring receipts. This part of him hawking, I think this part by itself was like a 30-minute montage of things that this man has hawked on my timeline over the years. Let's see, what else?
The
So
secret
this is the
sauce.
secret sauce.
That's my grandpa's sauce. That's the Big Papa sauce.
Tell me
right
about this secret sauce, because this is really what makes it, right?
there. Yeah, this is what makes everything.
Good.
Selling barbecue
Sweet potato
sauce,
fry.
fried
The only in
fish.
New Orleans you could get that at Big Papa's, the deep fried bacon and everything. Everything is cooked, seasoned well. You see how.
Oh, let me see if I can find another thing. This man was always hawking stuff.
Man, whatever you heard me, yeah, go to the store and get this. I ain't got to look for the
Rice.
police. I ain't got to look over my shoulder. I got that real. You heard me. Say hello to my little friend. I got packs of rice. Yeah, holler at me.
That's all I'm gonna give y'all. Y'all want to watch the rest? Go watch the deep dive. So my point is, and then remember, they used a little blind boy. Remember the little blind boy couldn't see, and they had him. They had this little blind boy eating the Snoop Dogg because he made cereal with Snoop Dogg. So they want the little blind boy to test the cereal out. It was just a mess. So my point is, this man has been hawking stuff on my timeline for years. Okay, so it's not just shoes, it's rice, pancake mix, hamburgers, cleaning detergent, Lysol wipes with Master P on the bottle. So I just find it funny that every few years he comes out, he's mad at black folks. He wants black folks to do a lot more to support him. And I just didn't like the fact that him as a black American man would basically minimize slavery and say that, that was in the past. He needs to move forward. We need to move forward and things like that. And my thing is, you can't just say that folks need to move forward and get over slavery and then not talk about the racial wealth gap. You know what I'm saying? That didn't stop when slavery ended. A lot of things were put in place to keep a lot of black folks at the bottom. And so I think the way he was saying it on that platform was just like an oversimplification, and it was annoying. He's chalking up people struggling and not, being able to hustle and do what they got to do simply because they're stuck with an old slave mentality. And so to me, it came up like that whole pull yourself up by the bootstraps rhetoric that you hear some white folks say, well, just pull yourself up by the bootstraps. I don't care who you are. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs mentorship, somebody to help them out, encourage them, things like that. Nobody gets anything done by themselves. And so I just didn't like how he said that. And even, another thing, it's very easy, like I said earlier, to punch down and be mad at the consumers and be mad at black folks for not supporting your Air Force nun-hunteds. You know what I'm saying? It's very easy to point frustration towards the black community rather than the institutions and the policies that make it where black folks can't afford to buy your shoes right now. And this whole, well, I made it, so y'all can make it too. That's one thing that a lot of black celebrities and even influencers have it bad. They're not honest. Whatever happened to just luck? Everybody cannot make it to a certain level, and that's okay. And I just don't like this whole, well, I'm here, I'm a millionaire, you can be one too. Sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's people that you know, sometimes it's the family that you're born into. But what a lot of people need to understand is that having money, being famous, and things like that, that is the exception to the rule. That's not the norm. Even for myself, what I do, I've been blessed to have this platform. I worked hard over the past 10 years to build it up and be able to do commentary. But I would never get up here and be like, well, y'all should be doing more. You could be a YouTuber too, because if I did it, you can do it. For some of y'all, that is a possibility. But for some people, that's not an option. And we also have to understand that we're also the exception to the rule. And I think that's what a lot of celebrities, they don't want to own, including Jay-Z. You're the exception to the rule. Everybody can't be Jay-Z. Everybody can't be Beyonce. Everybody can't be Master P. You know how many people in the hood rapped and sold CDs out the trunk of their car, but for whatever reason, they didn't make it? Not that they weren't talented, it just wasn't in the cards for them. So I don't like that whole mentality of, well, I'm rich and, you know, I put myself up by the bootstraps. Why can't y'all? If you're going to have this conversation, don't just leave it at slavery, brother. Talk about the black codes. Talk about Jim Crow. Talk about the discriminatory lending, the redlining, the housing segregation. If you guys follow my Instagram page, you guys remember a few weeks ago I talked about Rondo Days. That is the neighborhood I'm from in St. Paul, Minnesota. And in there, we do Rondo Day celebration to celebrate the old neighborhood. Back in like the 60s and 70s, it was a thriving black community. And that black community was destroyed when they built Highway 94 right through the community. And they redlined it. And they destroyed the black community. And what I found out, not only researching Rondo, is that this happened in a lot of communities. It happened in LA. It happened, you know, all through the country where black communities were basically, you know, interrupted and displaced because of them building the highway systems. So this goes a lot deeper than slavery. A lot of stuff was done systematically to keep black people at the bottom of the totem pole. And that's what he was saying in that interview with the Breakfast Club. So if you understand that black people tend to be at the bottom of the totem pole, then why are you in the same breath being a hypocrite and saying that y'all need to get over slavery and change your mentality and you too can be a millionaire? You too can help buy my products that I'm trying to sell. You know, you can't back in 2020 talk about the structural barriers. Because remember, him and Snoop Dogg, who has lived literally 50 different lives, went on a hobo tour on the Breakfast Club and on any platform who would have them. Remember, they were trying to sue Walmart. Oh, they're putting our cereals at the bottom. People talking about they can't find our masterpiece Snoop Dogg cereal in Walmart. This is racism. People have gone to Walmart and they're not seeing our cereals. Well, I live in Minnesota and I went to Walmart and their cereal was there. I'm not saying that it wasn't in other states, but Minnesota's a pretty white state. And I was able to find Master P and Snoop Dogg cereal. It's not there no more. But back then it was. But remember, they went and got a lawyer. They were trying to sue. So it's interesting that when he faces some type of, you know, miscarriage of justice or racism, he understands that. And they can go on a hobo tour and call it out. But when black people are saying, well, hey, you know, it's not that I don't want to pull myself up by the bootstraps. When I go get a loan to start my own business, I'm denied. But if I want to get a school loan and get myself into debt, they'll approve that. And we don't even want to get there and talk about how before Ronald Reagan and all them came into the presidency, it was free to go to college. But once black folks got interested in furthering their education, all of a sudden college, you know, we need fees. All of a sudden there was a entry barrier because they knew a lot of black families could not afford to send their kids to college back then. So there's always been a moving of the goalpost. And that's the part that kind of frustrates me when these conversations are had. Don't just chop it up to slavery and black folks not wanting to get over slavery. If you're going to talk about it all. And don't talk about it when it inconveniences you. Don't talk about it when you're facing racism, when you don't see your cereal on the shelf. But then when it comes to other black people and what they're going through, it's just kind of dismissed and y'all need to support me and buy my Uncle Ben's bootleg rice. Y'all need to support my shoes because it's a black-owned business. So I just don't like that. I don't like that. At the end of the day, I agree with supporting black businesses. I agree with financial literacy and, you know, as long as it's legitimate and it's not, you know, some schemy, scammy stuff. But ownership, you know, is a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to own a home. But we also have to understand and give grace to those who don't have the credit, who don't have the funds, who are working 2 and 3 jobs, who wouldn't want to own a home, who wouldn't want to have an asset. But we also have to understand that that's not in the cards for everybody, especially in this day and age. So be grateful for the fact if you do own a home. Be grateful if you do have an asset and understand that you're the exception. You're not the rule. Be grateful if you do have a car. Understand that that's not the rule for everybody. A lot of people depend on public transportation. They depend on the bus line, the subways and things like that. Somebody said, preach, Reverend T. Okay. I will. You know, I don't know. I just found that I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. So I just had to bring the receipts. Yes, Wendy, the money's not money. And that's why all these celebrities are crashing out. They look at y'all as, you know, y'all are the ones who are supposed to dump money into their pockets. And when people are not buying their shoes, their makeup, their hairline, their products, you know, whatever, you know, private label item that they're deciding to sell, then it's the Black community not supporting other Black people. As opposed to them being honest and saying, you know what? We're living in perilous times right now. Right now, the commander-in-chief just put an additional 50% tariff on Canada, and Canada said, we're doing the same thing back to America. We get our lumber, our cement, you know what I'm saying? Some of the most needed items from Canada. And guess what? We're also about to hit hurricane season. We're dealing with crazy weather. So to rebuild, it's going to be twice as expensive because of these tariff games that Trump is playing. But they're not going to talk about that, though. Right now, they're putting more sanctions on Iran and telling other countries, if you guys stand with Iran, then we're going to put sanctions on you all as well. So they're creating a very toxic situation that's definitely, you know, going to lead more and more into Iran possibly, you know, God forbid, attacking the U.S. because of all the stuff that's going on. The gas prices are outrageous. The cost of food is outrageous. People are being laid off. You had 2,500 people walk into Tyson Foods ready to start their shift, and they were told that day, it's over. The company's shutting down. Here goes a month of severance. Leave. So it's very easy for celebrities to be in their bubble and act like the world revolves around them, but I'm here to tell you it doesn't. Nobody gives a fuck about your neon blue shoes. I know I don't. Not when gas is outrageous. Not when I have friends right now who are in Memphis who have no lights. Not when you have Black people in Gary, Indiana suffering. They're not worried about slavery in your shoes right now. They're just trying to make it day to day. So, those are my opinions on Master P. Like I told you, I've been clocked his tea. I did an 8-hour deep dive on him. He been scheming, scamming, and some more shit. And I still ain't forgot what he did to Minnehaha when he brought his boys here to Minnesota to interrupt the season because they wanted to hop on a hot team. They took 2 seats away from boys who had been at Minnehaha since junior high because they were Master P's kids. And guess what? As soon as Jalen Suggs and Chet Holmgren went into the NBA, Mercy and Hersey stayed 1 more year, and then they left Minnehaha. And now we fast forward, neither child are in the NBA. So he's always done little grimy shit. And I told y'all that 3 years ago. That whole Minnehaha jump was just a hustle to get their kids seen because Minnehaha was actually getting national attention. And they had beat LeBron James and Bronny's team. I can't think of the school's name right now. And that's why he pulled him from Cali, pulled both them boys from Cali and brought them to Minnesota. And Minnehaha was bogus as hell for even letting them walk on the team in the middle of the season. They wouldn't have did that for no regular kids. So I ain't forgot that shit. So Master P can kick rocks. His privilege has allowed him to do a lot of stuff, has allowed his kids to get away with a lot of stuff. So you don't get to sit here and be like Black folks aren't supporting and they need to get over slavery. Because you use your privilege every chance you get. For y'all who are confused, I'm talking about basketball. Sorry. Just had to go on a basketball tangent real quick. Because I ain't forgot the shit they did to Minnehaha. Okay? But shout out to Jalen and Chet. They're doing their thing. All right, I got one more thing to talk about here, and then I'm going to go. Let me read these super chats here. Hold on, it just refreshed. A human sent $1.99. Says, hey T, I hope to meet you one day. That's what's up. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat as well. Hold on. Rose Marin sent $1.99. Says Snoop Loops were a game changer. Shut up. Not Snoop Loops. I never bought the cereal. I wasn't interested in eating anything called Snoop Loops. I'm good. I don't eat cereal like that anyways. But I did find some, and it was like some generic Malto-Meal cereal. It's really the only cereal I've been able to really eat since I gotten out the hospital. And I really like it. It's called S'mores. It has a kangaroo on the pouch. I don't know. Someone just told me to try it because I like s'mores. And it's good. So that's really been the only cereal that, and then they make me eat protein cereal. The protein cereal is hit and miss. But I like the s'more cereal. Look, Wendy says, T, you been calling him out. I have. Because it's too much. It's too much complaint. He complains every 5 years like clockwork about the black community and how they're not supporting his, 5011 businesses. Sir, sit your ass down. Focus on one business and go from there. He had even at one point in time, I think in the deep dive, he was coming out with a car line, video game line. I mean, it was ridiculous, all the stuff this man has hawked. Just that part of the deep dive was like a good 30 minutes. So he can miss me. Let's see here. APS says, good morning from Thailand, T. You look good. Glad to see you're back and doing well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Tim Rican, Sim 499 says, don't forget he was selling hand sanitizer during C19 and credit repair services via credit. Shaking my head. Exactly. And we're not going to talk about them other accounts he had too. That man, he's always been hustling. Always been hustling, folks. So I just don't like the fact that, now that the gravy train is running dry, he wants to come at the black community and say that, oh, they're stuck, thinking about slavery and this, and that. Nah, folks are stuck thinking about how they're going to get these lights on. If they have enough food prepared in case, the electricity goes out. Folks are trying to prep. They can't eat your shoes. Your shoes does not put gas in their gas tank. Folks are putting their priorities first. So, there you have it. SC Sim 499 says, have you seen the controversy about Master P's daughter, the biracial one? Symphonique, she looks totally different. I seen some of it. They said that she bleached her skin. She's super pale. I don't know. She does look a lot lighter. I hope there's nothing else wrong with her because you never know what people are going through medically. So I don't really want to judge, but her skin does look really light. But then let's also not forget Asian culture. Worship is, they worship white skin. And it looks like she's definitely around her mother's side of the family more than her father's side. So that might be why, if she is allegedly skin bleaching, because of, her Asian heritage. So, but it's sad. She's a beautiful girl. So I just hope it was, hopefully it was just like the lighting in the picture just made her look super light, but I don't know. But I did notice she's a lot lighter than she used to be. So let me see here. Okay, so this is the last story. We're going to talk about Keith Lee. So y'all know it's been a lot of drama going on in Gary, Indiana. People have been waiting for almost 2 weeks now for the power to come back. And people have just been going through it. Once your power is out for a few days, you lose food, your food spoils. A lot of people were not prepared. A lot of people don't have generators. The ones who did have generators, some were reporting that their generators were being stolen and things like that. That's why when I did the news segment earlier today in the morning, I would recommend getting the big battery power generators that you can leave in your home, that you can connect in your garage. Those just tend to be a bit safer. Who wants to pay thousands of dollars for a gas generator and you wake up and somebody stole it in the middle of the night? So so after a lot of influencers' videos went viral talking about Gary and, you know, the TikTok community, the online community coming together, Keith Lee stated that he wanted to go to Gary, Indiana to help out because he was getting ready to do some type of food tour. So he was like, you know, if I can use my platform to bring attention to Gary, that's what I'm going to do. So he stated this the other day that he was going to go to Gary, Indiana. And so this ended up blowing up into a bunch of craziness. So let's start with Keith Lee's video where he's talking about going to Gary. So give me just a second here. All right. Let me start the video here.
Officially in Chicago, Illinois. Tomorrow we will be in Gary, Indiana. The official time is 11 o'clock. This is the address right here. We have supplies until they run out. We got a DJ coming for music. We got a bunch of food trucks. Shout out to every food truck that said they want to be down and participate and contribute. The buzz that I've heard from Gary, Indiana so far has been amazing. Again, if there's anything that we could possibly do, I'm going to do it. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. There is no community that look like myself that I will not play a part in, not being ignored. If I can do anything to make sure that we heard and we know, and I'm not we know, but everybody know that we a community and we going to stand together, I'm going to do that. God is amazing. God bless y'all. Have an amazing day. Y'all be safe. I'll see y'all tomorrow, 11 o'clock until 3. Depending on supplies, but until 3. God bless y'all. Officially.
Okay. So y'all just heard what Keith Lee had to say. So he basically said that he was going to go to Gary, Indiana, which was going to be today. And he was going to give out supplies for people in need and things like that. Well, what ended up happening, can we hit the like button, y'all, if y'all are enjoying this stream? We have thousands of viewers in here. Please hit the like button. So what ended up happening is it caused a bit of drama. There were people online that were coming in from Chicago. You had influencers coming down there, you know, to be seen. You know, this was supposed to help people in Gary, Indiana, but people were showing up from other places that had power, but they were coming for like the free stuff. So people were mad about that. People were saying, you know, that's just greedy. You're not even struggling right now. Why are you here? This is for folks in Gary. Then you had other people who were upset, other races of people. They felt like, you know what, it's not fair that he's only catering to the Black community. We don't have lights here in Puerto Rico. We ran out of water. You had other white people that were in Indiana who were saying, well, hey, our white town of, I think, Mustin, Indiana, I might have said it wrong. You know, we don't have power either. Why is he not coming here? This shouldn't be about race. So basically, it was a lot of whataboutisms. And people were feeling away. Like, well, he needs to come here. He needs to come there. So we're going to watch some of these clips of, you know, of people addressing the situation. Then I'm going to kind of break down some more stuff as well. So give me just a second. Hold on.
I was reading some things under the comments and people in Gary telling people, some people, that they shouldn't show up, and if their light's not on, they should not be there and stuff like that. First of all, half of Gary and most of the surrounding areas have power. Like, it's only maybe under like 10,000 people left without power. It's not a lot of people that's left. Yes, that is still a lot, but it's not as nearly as much as it was in the beginning. So to tell people that they shouldn't show up when we all have been through this traumatic situation where we all experience our lights being out, we all experience, you know, living in the dark. We've all had this shared experience. So to be entitled and say, oh, you guys don't show up if your power isn't out. Don't show up we all experience this. This is the craziest part. And then now, like, y'all super entitled. Oh, no, we've been doing this. We were, like, that's what it gives when it be coming down to Gary sometimes. Like, I'm sorry. Like, y'all be like, oh, no, this is mine. This is mine. Or you guys don't help. What? Maryville stay helping Gary. You guys are sister cousins to each other, so you can't help any the June 11 we was going through our stuff and part of Gary was affected. Gary was coming to Maryville for the resources when they was passing out free food. I was talking to a lady in line. She said she lived in Gary. So please, like, stop that. People can't come in other surrounding areas. Like, yes, they can. And I hope y'all do show up. East Chicago, Munster, Maryville, Crown Point. Go to Gary and get yourself some free food and free supplies. Like, get out of here. And I was reading.
So like I said, that was a big deal. You had a lot of people in Gary arguing with people in other cities saying, don't come. This is a Gary, Indiana thing. Child. Like, you can't make this up.
And people say other people are complaining. I've seen videos where the people are complaining. And then under their videos is a whole list of people just yapping off on the keyboard, typing, he shouldn't have came here. We don't need him. This all he had to give to us. But yet I see under a news station, toilet paper, bags of grocery, water, vendors giving away food. He better than me. Cause I say, cause y'all on your own. Cause he didn't have to do it. Wasn't nobody thinking about Gary, Indiana until Keith opened up his mouth. I'm not no spokesperson for him. I'm one of them ones, when I see wrong, when wrong is wrong, it's just wrong. But it's not that I'm just going around looking for stuff or, well, I heard they were saying no. I'm actually seeing videos of people saying they don't need him here. He shouldn't have came here. He not doing nothing to help us get our life. So he ain't the one that created the dang tornado. He ain't create the tornado. He didn't cause the rain to fall. He didn't cause trees to come up out the ground. That man is not God. That's the part that I don't get. He ain't God.
All right, I got a few more clips.
So Gary, Indiana does not have any power, and Keith Lee spoke on this and saying that he was going to come there and try to figure out what he can do to try to help people, this, that, and the third, because, you know, his food tour was in the Midwest, and so he wanted to go out there and see if he can help. Now, of course, you're going to have some bitter people that are just mad for being mad. The fact that some of y'all are talking trash about Keith Lee and not your elected officials, like, it is crazy to me. Crazy to me. Oh, it's a publicity stunt. Oh, if you ain't bringing no electrician, oh, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. The fact he's bringing attention to it, that's the part. He's bringing attention to it. Because I don't know if y'all guys see what's going on. There's certain things that are happening in certain states and certain cities that is literally like, they're like on TikTok, you know how normally it was spread out? It seems like a lot of that stuff is getting contained within that region and not spreading out, you know, to know what's going on anymore. And it's only going to get worse from here. I'm telling y'all that. So the fact that he even found out about it and was able to speak up about it, because this has already been going on, if I'm not mistaken, for a couple weeks before he said anything and before he even found out about it, or before a lot of us found out about it. Trust me, when the government got a hold, when the United States got a hold of TikTok, oh, that algorithm, trust me, there's going to be certain things they're not going to let outside of a bubble, or at least they're going to try to. So y'all.
So as you see, it's just been a mess. I want to find this news clip where they were interviewing Keith. Let me see. Okay, here it is. This is when he showed up to Gary, and even the news was like interviewing him as well.
You
created this event. Are you satisfied with the turnout? What are people telling you?
It wasn't me. It was the people of Gary, Indiana. If it wasn't for y'all getting the stories out on social media, this would have never been possible. If it wasn't for God, this wouldn't be possible. I'm just a platform. I take no credit for this. I'm just doing what I feel like I'm supposed to do. Shout out to the people of Gary, Indiana. It wouldn't be possible without y'all. We are resilient. We are the most resilient people in the world. And we're going to continue to show that. And we're going to show no matter what darkness we're in, we can be a community. We can come out. It's been no violence. Everybody out here smiling, laughing.
First, I want to start by saying shout out to every single person that's here. I know that's not restoring the power. I know this is only a little token of what it is that we can do. But y'all being here in a moment like this, and the darkness and the things that y'all been going through, I appreciate y'all more than words can express. Y'all hear me? Indiana will not be forgotten about. I take no credit for this, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If it wasn't for the people in Gary, Indiana, getting the story out, getting the pain that y'all been going through out, this city is 90% us. And we will never be forgotten about. And as long as I got lungs and I got air in them, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to make sure any community that look like mine will not be underdeserved or underprivileged. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. God bless y'all, man. This is not a Keith Lee event. This is a Gary, Indiana event. Gary, yes. In no way or shape is this about us. This is about the community. This is about y'all. This is about the people. And I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all, man.
All right. So let me come back on this. Here's for the life of me. I'm trying to figure out where all the Keith Lee hate comes from. You know, I've watched Keith Lee off and on for a few years. I know, like, my youngest son really likes Keith Lee. Like, he's the one who first put me on him. And from everything I've seen over the years, I've seen nothing but genuineness from him. He's not involved in any controversy. I think he had the little BET incident, but that was it. You know, and the fact that he went out his way to come out there and just help says a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying it's not a Keith Lee event. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to be a vessel. And the problem is you're not going to make everybody happy. So let me say this to the people of other races who are saying that, you know, he made this a race thing. You know, he's only helping the Black community in Gary. Do y'all get upset when Asians only help the Asian community, or when Latinos only help the Latino community, or when, you know, Jewish people only help their community? I mean, do y'all get upset? Do y'all have think pieces on TikTok? Or do you just say, oh, that's the Asian community looking out for its own? He wanted to look out. He didn't go there specifically. I'm just here to help Black folks. But Gary, Indiana is a 90% Black city. Keith Lee is a Black man who has a huge platform. So if he can use his platform and everything else to help Black people who have literally been suffering for the past 2 weeks. Nobody really knew what was going on outside of certain pockets of TikTok. It wasn't until people on social media started speaking out that finally the mainstream media started talking about this. So I don't understand the hate that he gets. And we also had to shout out Trey the Truth. Trey the Truth is from Houston, I believe, Houston, Texas. And he comes out a lot. He's a rapper. He comes out a lot to help the community. He's done a lot for the community. He's been out there in Gary also giving out water and food and, you know, just trying to help people. So shout out to him as well. I think what people need to, who y'all really need to question, instead of saying, why isn't he helping the entire Indiana? Why isn't he helping Puerto Rico? You know, hey, Memphis is in the dark. We need help too. Last time I checked, neither Keith Lee or Trey the Truth were FEMA. And last time I checked, Gary, Indiana is a red state, a proud red state. I remember a few months ago when FEMA was being gutted and a lot of people on social media were laughing. They thought FEMA was waste, fraud, and abuse. Now you guys understand why FEMA was there. This would be something that FEMA would come to and help and set up tents. There is no FEMA right now. But last time I checked, Keith Lee is not FEMA. He is one man. He's a father and a husband. He's just trying to do the best that he can do. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody has all the solutions. Last time I also checked, Keith Lee is not the governor of Indiana. Why do y'all have think pieces and smoke for a random influencer with a platform who's trying to help than your own governor in Indiana? Because as quiet as it's kept, there's been a lot of, conspiracies coming out that the reason why Gary's going through what they're going through is because they done sold Gary, Indiana to a certain section of people. And then people are more worried about the data centers. Because one thing that I've noticed with all of these storms, because remember Long Beach, they lost power on Sunday. I don't know if Long Beach is back up, but they lost power on Sunday. Long Beach, Memphis, Gary, and so many other cities that I'm missing. One thing that did not lose power is the AI data centers. And like I told somebody in the comment section, they're not going to lose power. They have backup generator upon backup generator upon backup generator. You will lose power before that AI data center loses power. They had too much money tied up into that. So people need to have smoke for the mayor and the governor of Indiana. The fact that the governor is just now, as of yesterday, declaring this a state of emergency, but you got Black folks in Gary, Indiana who have been suffering for the past, this is day 14? Why wasn't this called a state of emergency way earlier? Is it because it's mainly affecting a certain pocket of the population? I find that interesting. At the end of the day, this man he's not an elected official. He's a food influencer. Nothing more, nothing less. He did what he can do. It's not his job to bring, linemen out there to fix the electrical, cords and the electrical wiring. He didn't say he was coming with a whole bunch of linemen from, I don't know what state he lives in. He said he was coming with food and music and drinks and, necessities. He didn't say he was coming with the power company and that he was going to jump up in one of the power trucks and jump up there himself and start fixing the electrical problems. We got to stop putting all of our anger and our frustrations on one person who has really no power. He's just a Black man in America. He has no power. The most power he has is to tell you that this chicken is trash or it's good. That's the extent of Keith Lee's power. So y'all need to take it out on the correct individuals and not Keith Lee and his family. I don't know. I just didn't like that. I didn't like all the criticism, all the clout chasing, all the weirdness. They just came to help out. And beggars can't be choosers. They're doing what they can. They're trying to help people. Hopefully the power will start coming on more and more. But even with that, like I've been saying, that's not something that's going to happen overnight. This is very dangerous. You're talking about a storm. You're talking about live wires. You're talking about men and women who are putting their lives on the line to restore power. I think if a lot of people knew how a lot of jobs worked, they would understand. A lot of people seem to think that when the power's out, all you need to do is have a crackhead climb up the line and just, flick the switch and you have power. That's not how it works. This is not like stealing cable back in the 90s. Shout out to everybody who got free cable back in the 90s, okay? Pay a crackhead $25, he go up there, rig some shit, you have cable. This is not that, okay? The poles are down. The wires are, broken. It's going to take some time to fix all that. And again, you only have so many linemen who can go up there and do that. Why? Because the trades are dying. For years, they promoted white collar jobs and influencer work. And now that these storms are becoming more and more frequent, they don't have enough people in those positions. Like I said before, all of the older men who are in the electrical field, the journeymen, the linemen, stuff like that, a lot of them are retiring, quitting, things like that. Who's going to replace them? These are real conversations that we need to have because the infrastructure, like I've been saying for years, is aging. Don't forget, I live in Minneapolis where the bridge collapsed over 10 years ago. The 35 bridge. It was just in 2023, there was another bridge collapse that happened near Baltimore. So all of this infrastructure is aging. They're only meant to last so many years. All they've been doing is patching it up. God forbid it gets hacked. It's really going to be a wrap. So I just think that people, again, I get the frustration. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have power for 14 days. I get the frustration. I get the anger. I'm not trying to minimize it. What I'm saying is have that anger, have that energy towards people who can actually make a change, which is the politicians, not the food influencers and not the rappers. So that's my thought about the situation. Thank you, Keith Lee, for going out there on behalf of the people in Gary and helping out. Shout out to everybody who was out there, volunteering and helping set up stands and, making sure that people got hot meals and showers and stuff like that, because he couldn't have done it all by himself. So shout out to everybody who went out there with positive energy to help and to make sure that things, went smoothly, which they did. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot going on out here. What time is it? I've been out here for two and a half hours. Okay, let me read these last few super chats here. Fijian Mommy says, hey, I'm from Gary, Indiana. Thank you for the super chat. I hope you're doing good. I hope you have your power. I know it's been a lot going on in Gary. So, y'all, I'm exhausted. This has been a great stream. I hope, y'all learned the wealth of information. I hope I broke down every story for y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But thank you guys so much for tuning in and supporting. I'll probably be back with some more videos on Thursday. So I'll talk to everybody later. Everybody have a good evening. Bye, y'all. Love you guys.
It's the Lovelyti TV show, bringing you good tea and good vibes. It's the Lovelyti TV show.